Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. To help you understand that I'm right, that I've won no matter what, first consider why martial arts is about building character and not getting money or trying to look good, okay, or just being physically fit. The main point is to build character. That's what makes someone superior. I'm going to give you 5 points to help you understand why an attractive female should be punished to the extreme for rejecting me. As much as you might think that, hey, that's crazy. You know, if you're some kind of secular fanatic, some kind of white social norm fanatic, what have you. But when you listen to this, you'll see that I must be right and there's no other way it could be. Point number 1. Consider the scenario of an invading army that wants to take all the rights of all the citizens of a nation and enslave all their attractive women to have sickening corporate dog-like sex with them, to make them sex slaves. Should the government and the citizens of that nation tell their military personnel to fight and kill the invading army? And would it not be over principles? Okay? Because, hey, they just want to take your rights and enslave you, right? Magically, that's not supposed to be a big deal, right? But it is. It's the principle and, in that case, the accompanying lifestyle, the accompanying slavery, the accompanying miserable state, right? So, should it not be over principles and not emotion, right? Temper, mental, right? Temper, emotion, mental, irrational. Ear, who you're listening to, rational. Spelled differently but with sounds applied for the wordplay to help you understand why it's even in your language that I'm right. Point number 2. If in the future there is no way for children to live moral lives, therefore they will live immoral lives and even derive pleasure from those lives. Again, if in the future there is no way for children to live moral lives, okay, therefore they will live immoral lives no matter what, and even derive pleasure from those immoral lives. And all this after all the righteous have been screened out for generations by their forefathers and foremothers, their genes. Do they not deserve to die? Why should they be rewarded for continuing their forefathers and foremothers' treachery by being allowed to live? Were not the righteous and their children killed at times? Truly, they deserve the death penalty. Now keep in mind that, I want you to, weigh in. If you don't agree, say you don't agree. That's why it's point by point. So you can zoom in and see exactly on what point and on what idea that you don't agree. So again, after studying, religions and peoples and philosophies for quite some time, it is obvious that they have no viable counterargument. And some try to confuse, and distract with, intellectual jargon, fancy talk, saying, well, you ever heard of this philosopher or that? And they say stupid stuff. And it never kind of pans out. It never proves to be a logical argument. It's just a distraction. They're just trying to confuse you and try to put you in your quote-unquote place in the psychological construct. Even the word place is lace, like to lace somebody, to lace the food and what have you, right? Food and Drug Administration, FDA. And a fad, social norms, right? FDA's fad, scramble. Place, lace, position is poison is scrambled. It's not a coincidence. Poise, what you're poised to do, and poison. How do you think that's a coincidence? Put in the comments if you think it's a coincidence. Don't sit there and not challenge the wordplay, and then turn around and say he's crazy because he thinks these words are connected. That's just immature. That's cowardly. That's childish. Okay, point number 3. If an attractive female rejects the most righteous man ever possible, when everyone else is evil, as they cheat him out of his right to lead. They're evil because they're cheating me out of my right to lead, right? We see in Hebrews and in Psalm 45, right? The righteous are above the wicked. Proverbs 16:12, the throne is established in righteousness. New Living Translation, justice. For those of you who are Christian, Muslim, or Jew, you must certainly agree on that. And it's universally true. Martial arts is about building character. They're not all from the Abrahamic faith. Historically, most of them, at least in Asian culture, weren't. So again, if an attractive female rejects the most righteous man ever possible, when everyone else is evil as they cheat him out of his right to lead, she is then waging war against the point in which the principles of righteousness enter the world. And this is worse than being in a world where there is no way for people to be moral in reality and killing all the children of that world at the same time. So again, why am I the point in which the principles of righteousness enter the world? Because outside of me, right, the gate in which righteousness enters, okay, in principle, even if you're not religious, there's no way to be moral. So in order for you to get to live those principles, you have to give me my right to lead, okay? Or you're leading yourself in wickedness, or you're following someone else who's wicked, instead of following me when I have earned the right to lead. It's my rightful place. And it's not right to cheat me out of my rightful place, as I'm the most righteous, and it's my right to lead. Pretty straightforward, right? Pause it, watch it again, and understand it. Again, it's not right to cheat me out of my rightful place and my right to lead when I'm the most righteous person ever possible. And the righteous decree is that no one is qualified to be a leader after my flesh dies and my soul continues forever. Pretty straightforward. If you do not agree with that point, God commands you to put it in the comments. And try your best to communicate to me. Okay. In case they cover up the comments, right? Which on this issue they probably wouldn't, because they don't want people to believe that I'm right. I'm obviously right. I've gone over it many times. I've talked to people about it. They either agree or they don't have a viable counter argument and just say stupid stuff or something. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. So again, if the attractive female, if she's dating somebody because they're cheating me out of my right to leave, they're married with 5 kids. Okay? Why should it say every attractive female was married with 5 kids? Why should I be cheated out of an attractive female because they got married to some piece of shit and they're raising some evil kids who can't be righteous without me leading them? Even in your Bible, it says the family of Christ are those who obey the commandments of God. So they're not a valid family, right? The body without the spirit is dead, like faith without works is dead. They're not a valid family unless I'm leading them anyway. Their marriage is invalid. Their family is invalid. They're just flesh-based, selfish worms, what have you. Anyone who believes that this is not the case is a different species, okay, than a species that is virtuous and intelligent enough to understand this the first time. So they're a different type of humanoid, if you will. They're inhuman. They're going into the earth, into hell, so to speak, instead of rising through the heavens to the source of heaven, to God. So they're a different type of humanoid. They're inhuman. They don't have the spirit of virtue and righteousness and life in them. They're just some worm that doesn't want to understand because there's some kind of selfish mark of the beast. And this is universal principle, not just something in the Bible. You can get there and be satisfied that that's the case while being agnostic or atheist. It's that dramatic. Point number 4. In terms of them being a different species, not in terms of the existence of God. An inferior species and evil, and it's wrong to cheat me and so on and so forth. Point number 4. If a poisonous snake was about to bite your child, or a serial killer was about to kill them, would you not kill them as a matter of principle? Or is it just your emotion? Again, being irrational and temperamental instead of logical and moral and wise and insightful and discerning and having sense. Point number 5. People that reject these arguments are not just evil, but childish and fanatically stupid. There are 50 million plus millionaires and billionaires in the world. That countless inhuman brats and other dogs would follow even if I was famous. So why on earth are they so stupid that they reject these arguments by their action to the point where they don't want people to hear my videos? Thank you.